Mental strength. Most people think it's something you're either born with or you're not. But research shows that's completely wrong. And the implications for society are staggering.
That's fascinating, especially when you consider how much time and money we spend on physical fitness compared to mental resilience. What exactly does the research tell us about developing mental strength?
Well, it's actually quite similar to building physical strength. Studies show that through deliberate practice and specific habits, anyone can develop mental toughness. Take that remarkable case of Jack, the kid who got hit by a school bus. His therapist completely transformed his recovery by reframing him as someone who could beat a school bus rather than a victim.
That's such a powerful perspective shift. And it wasn't just empty positivity. She helped him create that superhero book that changed how his whole community viewed him.
You know what's really interesting? The research shows that this kind of reframing can actually change brain chemistry. When we shift from self-pity to gratitude, we see increased activity in the prefrontal cortex, the area associated with positive emotion and resilience.
Speaking of emotional responses, that story about Lauren and her mother-in-law Jackie really demonstrates how we can unconsciously give away our mental energy, doesn't it?
Oh man, exactly. The fact that Lauren was spending 10 hours a week either dealing with Jackie directly or obsessing about her, that's like a part-time job of stress. And studies show that this kind of rumination actually suppresses immune function and increases cortisol levels.
Well, that connects perfectly to Officer Stephen McDonald's story, choosing forgiveness over revenge after being paralyzed. Research indicates that forgiveness can literally add years to your life.
Right? And it's not just about longevity. Studies from Stanford show that people who practice forgiveness have significantly lower blood pressure and report fewer symptoms of depression. But here's what's really fascinating: the research on change resistance, like in Richard's diabetes case.
The shop teacher who struggled with lifestyle changes, that was such a relatable example.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that behavioral science shows we're actually wired to resist change. The brain treats uncertainty about change similar to how it processes physical pain. That's why Richard's success came from breaking changes into micro steps. It literally helped bypass his brain's threat response.
That reminds me of how James handled his custody battle, learning to focus only on what he could control. The psychological impact must have been significant.
The data backs that up. Studies show people with a balanced sense of control have 23% lower stress hormones than those who try to control everything. And get this, they're also 31% more likely to achieve their goals.
So, what does all this mean for society as a whole? Like, how can we apply these insights on a broader scale?
Well, consider this. Workplace stress alone costs American companies about $300 billion annually. If we applied these mental strength principles, like Megan learning to set boundaries or Dale taking calculated risks, we could potentially transform both personal and professional outcomes.
That really brings it all together. How individual mental strength ripples out to affect everything from healthcare costs to workplace productivity.
And here's the most encouraging part. Recent studies show that mental resilience training programs can increase productivity by up to 25% and reduce stress-related health issues by 30%. It's not just about individual well-being. It's about creating stronger, more adaptable communities.
That's quite remarkable when you think about the implications for future generations.
Absolutely right. And looking ahead, experts predict that mental strength training will become as commonplace as physical exercise within the next decade. Just imagine the societal impact when we start treating mental resilience as essential as physical health.